From NHS burnout to locum life in Australia, this episode is about what it really means to take a break and rebuild life on your own terms.
We need to appreciate that everyone's definition of success is personal. I once did a locum where I was working alongside a consultant who he said he had a very different definition of success, and he told me about his reverse week, which was that he worked 2 days and had 5 days off. So he'd work 2 days as an emergency consultant, and then 5 days he'd be hydrofoiling by the beach or whatever. And that was his definition of success.
Don't forget to follow and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And follow us on Instagram. It takes heart for all the behind the scenes fun.
We care for the lightning sea. We care.
Today's guest is Dr. Chris G, a UK-trained doctor, content creator and YouTuber who took a sabbatical, picked up a camera and started asking some big questions like, what happens when the job you've worked your whole life for starts making you miserable? Chris's journey has resonated with thousands, not because it's perfect, but because it's honest. Welcome, Chris, to It Takes Heart.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honour. Thank you for letting me share my story, and all the other health professionals you share their story as well.
Yeah.
It's our pleasure. And are we calling you Dr. Chris G or Chris?
Just Chris.
Chris?
Yeah,
all right, just in case, because I'm like, you're a sensation online. We don't want to get the branding wrong.
Chris is absolutely fine. Yeah.
So we'd love to go back.
Yeah.
What made you become a doctor?
So, yeah, we touched on this earlier. So both my parents are pharmacists, so hospital pharmacists as well. And it was always just in my head that, I'm going to do something healthcare related, something in the hospital. And then when I got to sort of choosing my university degree, they were very much of the mindset, you need to choose a degree which has a job at the end of it. So like medicine, law, engineering. So that already kind of like narrowed my thing. And I didn't like hold it against them or anything for that. And then also at the same time, I really liked Scrubs as a 15, 16-year-old.
The TV show.
That's
TV
just
show,
not the
yeah.
plot you weren't walking around dressed in your scrubs.
Yeah, I did also like
It was
clothing.
huge. Like, that's a big part of pop culture.
And I think at that age, you're like so impressionable. Even like now, I feel like I'm a very impressionable person.
Yes.
So I just thought, well, I have to choose something with a job at the end of it. I have to go down one of these paths. Why not just do this? It seems fun. Doctors are funny. They have like fun relationships. So I had a very warped view of what medicine actually was.
Yeah, I was just about to go.
Who were you in Scrubs?
I don't actually know, because I definitely daydreamed a lot, like JD. So like just kind of like lost in my own head a lot. I'd probably say JD. Yeah.
And so you went.
When you got to medicine, you were like,
So you went into the NHS.
Yeah. So 5 years med school, then so that was straight after high school, because you don't need to be postgrad in the UK. And then
That's very young.
Yeah, like 18, like chucked in. And then
So you can explain that though, like you can be working in the NHS straight out of high school.
So it's like straight out of high school you go to medical school.
Right,
so you didn't have to do an undergrad.
Yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah, so at 18, but in my medical school we did also do like clinical placements very early. So I think even from second year we were on the wards as medical students.
Right.
So like 19-year-olds and stuff. You're not technically working, but you're kind of helping out here and there and all that stuff.
Yeah. And so what's it like? What's the NHS like? I mean, you haven't been there for a couple of years, but compared to
more than a couple,
like what was it like working in the NHS?
Yeah. It's so the more distance, like more time-wise, that passes between me working in it and now, the harder it is to actually remember. But all I can describe is like the feeling that I would have every single day waking up, which was, I guess, just anxiety, like low mood. And it's because I always felt out of my depth. I always felt like there wasn't enough support around me.
Senior support or?
Just, I guess senior support, especially like out of hour shifts. You'd have people you could call, but there was kind of like a unwritten rule, which is like only like really serious stuff. those little awkward things where you're not sure about. You're like, oh, should I call? Yeah.
And when you're a couple of years out, like,
Yeah.
I imagine a lot of life experience counts when you're becoming a doctor and having seen X number of patients in the
Definitely.
past and being able to say, I've seen this before. Whereas if you haven't, to make those decisions must feel really stressful.
Exactly. Yeah. And you've probably heard like the UK doctors have just like finished another 5-day strike.
Yeah.
I think also when you compare your life to your friends who are like, they went to the same high school as you, for example, but they said they're working in the city in finance and they're like, their lives seem a lot better because they earn a lot more money. And I know it sounds bad, but that does help when you can pay your rent and do your groceries. So I'm very behind like the doctor strikes because I don't think they get paid enough for what they do.
And is that the main reason? If someone's going, oh, well, why are they striking? Is that the main reason? Is it for pay?
I think pay helps, but to be honest, it's like the whole system is asking too much from them.
Yeah.
Like their lives, my life was very difficult as a junior doctor. Just the stress level, the working hours, not being able to have a life outside of medicine.
And like the caseload when you're there?
The caseload, yeah. So just for example, I remember, so this was F2, so like second year out of medical school. We do like medical on-call. And over the weekends, out of hours was always terrible. But over the weekends, it was me, another F2 and a registrar and like a nurse practitioner covering 400 patients. And these weren't like people with like coughs and colds. These were sick medical inpatients, like a lot of them critically ill. And if your registrar is doing, so your registrar's like just a bit senior than you, if he's busy doing resusces on multiple patients, like you're not going to be able to ask him any questions or her any questions. You're going to have to do these things on your own. And you obviously have to prioritize the critical things, but then you have this like list of 50 other things that you need to do. You've got your bleep going off all day. And factor in like if you're doing that overnight, you're sleep deprived, and it's not a good way to live. Like it just really takes its toll. And when you're given like a workload that's not humanly possible to do, and you can't do it, you feel like you're not good enough as a person, you're not good enough as a doctor. And I think that has a lot of repercussions with your mental health as well.
So you hit a point where you were like, enough. What was that point? What was there? It sounds like it was sort of building. Was there one particular point?
Particular day? I'd say it would be more of a gradual thing. Even, I guess, throughout medical school, I wasn't 100% sure because I'd see like my more senior colleagues at the time, they were just like first year doctors. I'd see them and be like, oh, I'm not sure I actually want their life. They don't seem very happy.
And that's a difficult place to be in itself. If you're continuing your studies and you're pushing and putting everything into this and sacrificing a lot of social life and other things to do this thing that you want to do.
And then not look up to the
really
very
derail
senior
you.
people that are doing it.
Yeah. Like they always say you should look at the person 5 years ahead of you on the same path. Do you want to do what they're doing? And a lot of the time it wasn't. Like when I was back in the NHS, I didn't see anyone that actually genuinely inspired me. And it didn't excite me to like recreate their life in my own. Yeah.
That's really sad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So one day you went, enough.
Yeah, so there's quite a natural break in the UK between, so after your foundation years, so the first 2 years after medical school are called your foundation years. And most people will choose a training pathway at that point. But it's getting very common now that people will take a break after that. I think it's more common than that people take a break than don't, whether that's to travel or to like study something else or just do something completely different from it. Like for example, my sister, she's also a doctor, but she just became a yoga instructor for like a year or two even maybe, and then started her training.
So it's almost like you're not having the gap year when you leave high school. It's like you sort of have it then.
And I think people are realising they really need it after those first couple of years working in the NHS and being like really under the pump for that long. Most most doctors feel like they need it and are recognising that they need it as well.
And so then you took that break.
Yeah.
Where did you go? How did you get from being burnt out to in Australia locuming? Like, what did that space look like?
And was it a break like I'm not going back, or was it a...
So my first break...
Was it like, I just need to recharge?
I've actually had multiple breaks now.
Yeah, okay.
I've had... So that first break, so it was 6 months after foundation year 2. And that was like, I think I'm done with medicine. I don't want to go back to the NHS. It was very like cliche, like my hair was like down to here.
Yeah.
And
like,
what year are we talking?
This would be 2019.
Right.
So just before COVID.
Yes, just before
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah. So 6 months, long-haired Chris with a backpack, traveling Southeast Asia,
Yeah.
finding himself.
Very cliche.
Right,
yeah.
very cliche. But it was like honestly the best thing that I ever did.
Is this when
Yeah.
you did like the 10 days
Oh yeah,
meditating in silence?
Yeah. I've actually done that twice now.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. You've gone back for more.
Yeah, I went back for
Do you
more.
think you could do that?
I don't know. Tell me about that experience. Was it?
It's probably one of the hardest things you can put yourself through.
Because I think I heard that you were like, you've got heart, like by day 10, you were like, I'm good, but.
Yeah. Like, but it's also one of the most fascinating experiences you can have as well. Like being able to observe your own mind for that long. Like, when have you ever been disconnected from society or
Oh my gosh.
anything?
I struggle to meditate.
What is that? Like, is it literally
It's
10
literally just
days?
10
of
days.
just-
Yeah, 10 hours per day of meditation. So seated, cross-legged on the floor and just focusing on your breath initially and then scanning your body. And you have like some guidance and stuff and you get meal breaks like breakfast and lunch. But yeah, that's
And where were you?
First one was in Myanmar.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually where it originated from,
Yeah.
this particular Vipassana one that we do. And then the second one was with my fiance last year in Jakarta, in Indonesia. Yeah.
So you did first 6 months, long hair,
Yeah.
backpacking,
Yeah.
Southeast Asia. Then what happened?
And then I came back to the UK and I started locuming a bit in the UK, but I was just locuming in the hospital that I worked at for F2. So I wasn't really like traveling around or anything. It's just like, oh, they need a doctor. I'll just work there. I already know the system, etc. And then I was like, I actually don't know what I'm doing with my life right now because I don't know what specialty I want to do. Like, I guess I should pick one or if I should just leave and do something else, but I can't because I've been studying for so long.
Don't want to throw it
And
away.
that's such a tough thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
put all those years in and then you've got, in the back of your mind, I've got to come out with a job as
Yeah,
well. Like, I
yeah.
think we were also in that era where we all had to go and study something that you then had a job and
Yeah.
then to feel like, oh, I don't know if this is my thing.
And I think as
Yeah.
you get older, you might look back and go, well, that was just a moment. But at the time, that's all you've had. So
Yeah.
it feels like the biggest moment ever.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So, yeah, and then I guess it was by chance. I had one UK doctor friend who went to the same med school as me. He actually just got his citizenship on Monday, just gone. But he had been here for about a year and he was like, dude, you have to come to Australia. It's the best thing ever. Like,
And you hadn't been out.
I hadn't been. I'd come here for like a family holiday to Cairns, like
Yeah.
when I was 15 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I've nothing else going on, so yeah, I'll give it a crack. And he got me a job at one of the emergencies in Brisbane, and I worked there for a year, and then I stayed there for another year to get my like GP prerequisites. And then obviously you're surrounded by a lot of other UK doctors who are doing a very similar thing. And they introduced me to like the whole locum stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because actually, I remember seeing when you were sharing when you were looking to do GP. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
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 And then
Still am.
that's
Still,
still
yeah.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's really challenging, and I
Yeah,
thought that was
yeah.
really interesting when I saw that video because not realizing just how competitive.
Yeah, it's getting
That
a lot
is.
more competitive. So that first intake this year for 2026 start was like really oversubscribed, and Southeast Queensland, rural Southeast Queensland, was the most popular region in the country.
Yeah.
And obviously that was my first choice. I didn't actually put any other preferences because I really did want to stay around here. So I didn't get a place. But they have just opened up applications for like second intake just yesterday. So I'm reapplying. I've extended my training preferences to like, was it North Coast,
Yeah.
New South Wales,
Yeah.
So
Maybe we
Byron
can like
area.
build your profile and then be like, if you let Chris in,
Yeah.
we could do some great profiling on
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
program,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, exactly.
opportunities.
Yeah, yeah.
So have you
Location.
locumed then, all your time has been out here doing various locums?
I have, so I worked 2 years full-time essentially in Brisbane, and then I've just been doing locuming around New South Wales, Queensland, Tasmania. Yeah.
And what have you noticed? Like, what's the biggest difference?
Between working in Australia compared to the NHS?
Yeah. Like, are you enjoying medicine again?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Like as soon as I came over, even though I was working like a full-time schedule, I just felt a lot better in general. Like my mood was better. I think a huge part is the weather. Like it sounds cliche again, but it's like if it's sunny every day, it's a lot easier to go to work than when like
not dark.
And dark,
Yeah.
when you're not cold and miserable. I think I definitely had like an element of SAD, seasonal affective disorder, for sure. So that helped. And then I just felt a lot more supported. Like I did a whole year of emergency at the Mater Hospital in Brisbane, and there's just always a senior there. Like every single patient I saw, I can run it by someone.
And if you look at the ratios, if you think about that small team you had doing being responsible for that 400 patient load, how does that compare in a hospital like that?
Yeah. So I guess one thing that I haven't experienced is being, like, for example, on call, because I somehow managed to, like, slip around that. So I actually probably wouldn't be able to compare it directly.
Yeah.
The style of job that I was doing was very different. So, like, in emergency, you're just seeing one patient after the other. Whereas when I was doing the on-calls in the UK, that's when we had that, like, high patient load. I've heard it can be quite bad here as well, so I'm not going to...
And it depends, obviously, health service to health service and where you're located and, you know, all of those factors.
Yeah.
Do you think from the time that you've had in Australia so far, had you studied medicine out here and gone in, you know, in those junior years, do you think you would have been equally as burnt out?
It's a good question. Yeah. I don't think so. I feel like interns are a lot more supported here. Like they're a lot more protected. Just from speaking to people and just my experience. But it's really hard to tell, isn't it? Like
when you look at the, the doctors 5 years ahead of you now.
Yeah.
Are you inspired by what you see
100%,
out in Australia?
Yeah.
Because of the lifestyle that they're leading?
How so? Talk to us about what's inspiring.
So one of the things that actually got me to kind of commit to staying was I was working in the Mater as well with a emergency consultant, probably only like maybe 4 or 5 years older than me. He'd just qualified as a consultant. And this conversation actually made me want to stay in Australia. He basically said he was earning 3 times as much as his consultant friends back home who were also working in emergency. And in my head, I was like, well, if that's the case, I could actually work a third of the amount and like be on the same wage as I would if I went back home, which would free up like 2/3 of my year. So
imagine what you could do with you saying locuming too can be like a reverse holiday. Like you can do all these other things.
Exactly. Yeah. I think coming here gave me more of my life back outside of medicine. Yeah. Not that I dislike medicine or anything. I just like a lot of aspects of life, and I don't like that.
And being able to set boundaries for yourself. To ensure that you can have that balance. By the sounds of it.
So there's go on. Whereas
in the UK, it was like you're a doctor, and it felt like I wasn't anything else. I was just kind of in medicine. I was burning out, and like I wasn't doing all these other things I wanted to try, like content creation or training or anything like that. Yeah.
So there's loads of great things about being out in Australia and working in the system out here, but there's also, you know, all of our creepy crawlies and we've seen in your videos you've got Ron, the head of HR, the bird. Yeah. There's Dr. Hopkins, the kangaroo.
New addition to the cinematic universe. Yeah.
This is it. You've even had the gardener came in and did some X-rays at one point. And I think
that was actually true.
That was true, right? So we'll get to it in a minute.
Yeah.
Must keep it interesting.
But I remember when we lived in London and people would be like, God, out there, there's
Couldn't live
drop
there.
bears and there's you ride kangaroos to school.
Yeah.
Something's going to kill you.
Yeah.
All the creepy crawlies.
Have you found any of those things confronting? And what are the wildest things you've seen on your travels out here?
Like, I feel like those things are so exaggerated by the rest of the world. Like all these creepy crawlies. It's almost become like a meme in itself. Like Australia has like animals that will kill you and stuff. I'm sure there are, but I haven't actually seen, even going to like these rural places, I've never felt like threatened by an animal. They're all very cute and approachable.
Yeah.
Like Dr. Hopkins and Ron.
Yeah.
Ron's a bit annoying. He's a curly, so yeah.
HR.
and noisy.
Yeah, very noisy.
Tell us about the gardener doing the x-rays.
Yeah, that blew my mind. So basically, this was actually very recently in rural Queensland. I won't say exactly where it was, but in my first week, I was working in one small hospital and I was told that the nurses were doing x-rays, which I was like, oh, that's really cool. So they just do an extra course, which allows them to be an x-ray operator. Doctors can do it too, but there's like a weird loophole that doctors aren't allowed to do it and then they can't order the x-ray and then do it, which is very strange. So there's almost no point in the doctors learning.
Like a referral person.
Yeah, it has to be a referral, yeah. So the nurses were doing it, and I was like, wow, that's awesome. So I moved to the next hospital in the next week, and I find out that the gardener is doing the x-rays because he's done the same x-ray course. Yeah.
He's doing locum life too. He's finding balance.
Like he literally mows the lawns and he comes in and then he does the x-rays.
Only in Australia, right?
Only in Australia, yeah.
Did you see as well, like the role of the nurse practitioner in Australia? Did you think, is their scope of practice much broader than you're used to in the UK?
Have I seen? I haven't seen a huge amount of nurse practitioners actually. But just normal nurses, like especially rural. Yeah, they've got like a huge scope of practice. Yeah, I often joke like they're basically the consultants out there. Yeah, and in fact, because I was complaining, at this last one, I wasn't supported, even though I picked up a locum, which was like I was promised to be working alongside an SMO. They didn't roster on an SMO. There was like some issues, so I spent like 3 out of 5 days just like me running the emergency and the ward as a registrar. And I was complaining. I made a few reels about it, but then the nurses told me that they didn't even have a doctor for 6 weeks, so they were running the ED. They were like doing all the doctory stuff as nurses.
Yes, they can.
And I was like, I'll stop complaining now.
Yeah.
And what are your friends back home, back in the UK?
What are they doing?
What do they think about that? Like
when they're watching all your videos.
To be honest, I haven't. This is quite recent, me sharing this like part of my life, this like rural medicine stuff. So I'm yet to get much feedback from them. I'm going back in November. Okay. So I'll ask them then.
And I bet I can only imagine the stress that they're under, even looking to you going, how do you have time to do all this? You know, like it's such a different life that you're living. Yeah. What do you think the other benefits of locum rural work is?
I think I prefer working like rural. I've realised it's just so much. Like I've worked in busy EDs in the city, and I worked in like kind of busy EDs in rural. But even a busy rural ED feels like way more manageable. It feels way more personal. Like you're working in a smaller team. Everyone's like kind of having a laugh and a bit more connected. Yeah. Whereas in these big metro ones, you just become a number. You're just like a cog, and you're just like churning through patients. You got patients in the corridor. One of my last shifts that I did in the city, it was a couple of months ago, and I've decided it will be my last shift in the city because the whole day I just saw patients in the corridor. Like I didn't see a single patient in a cubicle. And I was like, this just reminds me of like the NHS. I much prefer just having that space. And then you do get a bit of downtime and quiet time between patients sometimes, which is like really nice. I much prefer that kind of slower pace. And then occasionally you get something like a bit exciting or whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
So content creation. Yeah. When did that start? So I mentioned earlier how I'm quite impressionable,
And I kind of grew up on YouTube, like just watching YouTube as a kid. I think maybe like early teens or something like that. And I always wanted to be a YouTuber, but it was definitely like a bit of a dark secret. I didn't tell anyone. And then
My son shouts that from the rooftops.
Right, okay,
Ask
yeah,
him what
yeah.
he wants to be. A
Yeah.
YouTuber.
But I think probably now, like many years
Uh-huh.
back, like there might have been as many, but now, they start as kids now being
Yeah,
a
yeah,
YouTuber.
yeah. But the problem was I also became a doctor, and then going through med school, working in the NHS, I just kind of buried that dream. Just kind of kept it locked away as I was burning out in medicine.
Do you think also there was a little part of that because it was like, well, what's that as a job? Like if we think about your
How do you
parents and
monetize?
not
How
to
do you-
to your
yeah.
parents, disrespect, but it's like,
Yeah.
trying to have a job at the end of it. It
Yeah,
seems
yeah.
just frivolous and silly.
Yeah, it seems
so
like a bit of a waste of time.
Yeah.
And that's so. After those foundation years, I think I just finished my traveling at that time. My first 6-month travels, came across a doctor YouTuber called Ali Abdaal, if you've heard of him. Probably one of the biggest doctor YouTubers. Well, he's an ex-doctor YouTuber now. And watching him just unapologetically make YouTube videos, I was like, I could actually do this too. He's a doctor, I'm a doctor. We were a very similar level, like he was doing his F2 as well. And it just gave me permission to start, something that I'd always wanted to do, but secretly I was like, I'm not really sure if I can give that a go. Like, it's not professional.
also comes back to that,
Yeah.
you can't be what you can't see.
Yes, that's huge. I really like that that quote as well.
Yeah.
Like, I really resonate with that.
And interesting that you're working in medicine with zero inspiration of what you could be, but you've seen this other person on socials,
Online, yeah.
and that's inspiring.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's a problem, isn't it? That,
Yeah.
that the people in front of you.
Yeah. So it was so cool just seeing his journey, like how he was still working full-time as a doctor at that point. He was doing his YouTube channel. He was doing a podcast. He was building a business at the same time. It did also blow my mind how he was doing that.
Yeah.
Just comparing my F2 years. I was like,
Yeah.
I could have never done that. Like, I don't know how he physically
Have
did
you
it.
ever found out how he did that?
No, I would love to like speak to him one day, but yeah, I think he's kind of gone off the stratosphere in terms of like how, like he's pretty famous now. I think in terms of like content creation.
Is there anything that you don't or won't share online?
I draw the line of like, I guess, people around me, so like family, friends, partner. Like if they don't want to be in my videos, like that's 100%. I completely agree. Like they shouldn't if they don't want to be in it. For me personally, no, I'm pretty open now.
And I guess
I
it
am.
was, you mentioned there, it was only recently that you're doing the locum life stuff. So it was a lot of like the travel and just
Yeah,
day
so
to day before then.
Yeah, so when I was first inspired by Ali Abdaal, it was also just as I came over to Australia.
'Cause you were in lockdown. Did
And
I
was
see a
in-
video? You were in lockdown. Yeah.
So 2020, 2 weeks hotel quarantine, no windows open, no fresh air, just me and my iPhone 11 camera. And I was like, well, if I don't do it now, I'm literally never going to do it.
Yeah,
There's-
yeah. I
I've
will
got
never
2
have
weeks
this
of
much time.
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, I'll start making videos. At the time, I was really into like calisthenics and fitness. So I was like, I'll just start with the like fitness because that's what I wanted to talk about. So I started making like a few of those videos, and yeah, just that's where it all came from.
Just went from there.
Just went from there. Yeah.
You've
But
said,
then-
though, that it's like been the biggest personal development journey.
Yeah.
Why?
So it started off with like, me giving like health and fitness tips. And then with the travels, I was kind of continuing that. But then it got to a point where I realized people really weren't connecting with that. What they were connecting with was just me sharing my own story. So I kind of lent into that more and realized I actually enjoyed that more as well. And you never run out of ideas when you just talking about your own life.
life.
Yes, that's it.
There's infinite
I did
ideas.
stop
Especially all these
Yeah,
locums
yeah.
too. You've got so much content then when that happened.
Whereas before the health and fitness stuff, you have to really like research what you're saying. You don't want to say the wrong
How do you
things.
be an expert about
Exactly,
something
yeah,
that you're not
yeah.
trained in or what
Yeah,
have you?
and I think I actually really didn't like. I liked and still love making videos. So it didn't really matter what the content topic was about. I just wanted to create. And in terms of So you asked about it being the biggest personal development journey. So if I were to go back 5 years and look at myself now, I'd be like, I can't believe this is happening. Like even just being here, like sitting to YouTube, sharing my story, because most people would have considered me very like introverted, doesn't really share much about himself. Chris is like the mysterious one. We don't really know what's going on in here. Doing the content stuff just gave me a voice, like, because I felt comfortable. Just you're essentially on your own as a content creator. You're just on your own in a room speaking to a camera, and it was almost like a journal. Like I just also describe it as like therapy, because I'm just venting to the camera often.
Does that feel hugely uncomfortable though? I imagine when you started doing that, like, it's a really scary thing to be vulnerable, particularly if you are a bit more introverted. You've gone from 0 to 100, right? Like I'm introverted, no one knows what I'm thinking, but here you go. Here are all my thoughts.
It was hard at first. I guess at the start it was like I wasn't sharing myself because it was like health and fitness tips.
Yeah.
So that was fine. It was still really scary just doing that.
I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Like, did you have that fear of judgment?
Yes, and
particularly friends. I think sometimes when it's for strangers, you're like, who cares what they think? But what are my peers and my friends and my family going to think about this?
Yeah. So the hardest bit of content creation, it wasn't the tech, it wasn't the editing, it wasn't the thumbnails. It is the fear of being seen. And not by random internet strangers, but by people that you know in real life. What if my medical school friends see this? What if my consultant stumbles across my YouTube channel and brings it up in the tea room? That was like my biggest fear. Not failing at YouTube and like not getting any views, but actually people seeing my stuff, which is weird because you're putting yourself out there, and you do want to be seen, you do want to get the views and stuff, but at the same time you don't want anyone to see it. It's quite strange.
Yes.
And I think just with time of doing it over and over, I don't even think about the people watching it in a way. Like it surprises me when people say, "Oh, I've watched all your videos," because
you're like, really?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, wow, okay, that's cool.
You've got a lot of time on your hands.
Yeah. Because from my perspective, it's just me talking to a camera, and then I see some numbers on a screen. But actually, I'm speaking to thousands, sometimes millions of people. And with time, you just kind of get over it. If you do it enough, yes, my med school friends will see it. Everywhere I locum now, people will be like, I recognise you from the thingy. And yes, I feel a bit uncomfortable, but I think just with time, you get over it.
But also that those videos you shared too, again, similar to the point of this podcast, it's also shining a light on the work and the experiences and just have the human element of having a bit of fun and what is it actually like going and working where the curler was the head of HR and all of those experiences, but it also inspires others. Which again, that can't be what you can't see. For others then to see this, it just opens up so much more opportunity.
Did you know that this sort of locum work existed? If you look back.
Oh, definitely not. No.
Because when you said you locumed in the UK, what's that like compared to locuming out here?
It wasn't like locuming. It was just like, oh, the hospital I was already working in, they need doctors. I don't even know if it was called locuming. It was just like, I'm just filling in some like roster gaps. And if someone had told me this was available, like in those dark years, I'd be like, oh, well, at least I've got that to look forward to. So I guess, you're right. By sharing my story, people can see, look at this guy's lifestyle. That's actually something that I'm inspired by. Kind of like how I was inspired by Ali Abdaal. Hopefully someone will see my content and be like, oh, I'm a doctor, I'm kind of burning out, but this is an option for me.
I feel like the younger generations now are really redefining what it means to have a career in so many different things. But if we look at healthcare, like if you think about what you went into and that study and now, to be able to be a content creator, to travel, to do all the things, do you think that there's a big shift happening systemically through these systems? These younger generations aren't going to stand for the burnout.
They want different things.
I think so. And especially with like seeing it online, it's they know there's other options out there. Like they don't have to just do one career for their whole life and like stick with it if they hate it. There are loads of things. They could even work part-time. They could have like side hustle online. They can do whatever they want.
And how is that viewed from maybe more long-term people who were more of the old school thought of this is my career, this is my life, I'm the pillar of the community and this is you know, is
Yeah.
there
There's a
is
real
there backlash of
Yeah.
friction?
thinking,
Yeah. I don't know, because I haven't spoken to them like...
you're not feeling it at the moment?
Yeah,
You're
I
not
don't-
invited to those circles, those working groups.
Yeah.
What are these young kids on YouTube
Yeah.
doing?
I have. Oh, I guess I've been to some like locums, and the consultant like finds out I've got content, and they're like, often they just like, oh, that's cool, but they don't really like understand like what exactly I'm doing. Some of them like, oh, I could never share that much of my life online, that kind of thing. But it's not just about content creation.
That's what I was going to say. It's not even, there are people with other passions.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think people are just now looking at their life and thinking, what do I want my life to be?
Yeah.
And a career fits into that.
Yeah.
Whereas before it might have been, what is my career going to look like? Whereas
Well,
now
like
the
you
career
said, you're
has to
working
fit.
every single day and there's no room for anything else.
Yeah. You don't have space to explore outside of your own job. Yeah.
It's do you think we need to then redefine as well what success looks like in healthcare? Because I feel like, say, being a doctor, it was all very much about the status of being a doctor, and it's working hard and long hours, and I'm successful if I'm there 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Does that need to be reframed now for the newer generations coming through to get more excited about wanting to join healthcare careers?
And because we still need people in all the metro areas.
Yeah.
The work that, you know, isn't really for you now. What needs to shift to make that sustainable?
Yeah. Well, I guess,
attractive?
yeah, we need to appreciate that everyone's definition of success is personal. Like, everyone wants different things. Like, it's totally okay for some people who they do want to climb up that ladder. They want to become a neurosurgeon. They want the titles. They want that kind of like life. That's cool. We need those people. But then it's also okay for people who they don't see that as a successful life, because like if I did that, for example, I would be miserable. Success is like, it's not a title. It's more like a feeling of your day to day, I think. And I once did a locum where I was working alongside a consultant who he said he had a very different definition of success, and he told me about his reverse week, which was that he worked 2 days and had 5 days off. So he'd work 2 days as an emergency consultant, and then 5 days he'd be hydrofoiling by the beach or whatever. Yeah. And that was his definition of success. And like, it would be very different to a lot of doctors or other professionals' definition. Obviously, you'd get paid less by working less, but it didn't matter.
What's important to you is
different. Yeah.
So what does success look like for you?
For me, I'm very inspired by that consultant's kind of like reverse week. I think to be honest, my life now, I feel like I'm very happy. Like, obviously, I still want to kind of get the title of being a GP, just because it will open more doors. Also, I get a bit more training and like feel a bit more comfortable.
What is it about GP that interests you?
I think, like I said before, I'm a very multi-passionate person. There's nothing more boring to me than just specialising in one thing. Like, I want to do all these different things. And GP and emergency as well, to be fair, but I hate night shifts. Yeah. Like, you see everything. Like, and you can kind of make it what you want. It can be very varied. So like a successful life to me would be working a couple of days as a GP, and then the other days doing content or spending time with family, friends, just living life outside of medicine.
Do you think that, this is a big call if you do, but do you think that coming out and doing this locum life really saved your career in medicine?
Yeah, that's a good question, definitely, because doing locum stuff, it gave me more time outside of medicine to explore other passions like content, for example. If I was still working full-time all the time and knowing that I'd only be doing that full-time stuff for the rest of my life, I think I'd be like, is this really it? I've got so much other things that I want to try. So I think so.
So if you think about attracting people into healthcare, you're really inspiring people that you can build the healthcare career that you want. It doesn't have to be any certain way. It sounds like there are just so many pathways, so many options, so much variety for anyone, which I think is a really important message. That people do still choose a career in health. I think out of post-COVID years where, You know, it's challenging, isn't it? I think there's a lot of people who have felt the strain, and I think it's just really important that anyone feeling like that, there could be an alternative option still within healthcare.
Yes, you don't
for
have to just quit.
You don't have to
completely.
leave healthcare.
Yeah.
You can still fall back in love.
Absolutely.
With the reason.
Yeah. And the more like control and space you have over it, the more you actually enjoy it, I think. Like when I go to work now, I actually enjoy it because I'm not there every single day of the week. I'm just there like because I chose to be there, which is,
And exploring all these new locations.
Yeah, I get to travel, I get to go around the country, see Australia.
While getting paid.
Whilst getting paid, yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
What's one change you think we could make now that would make healthcare happier for everyone?
Yeah, that's a difficult one.
It's a bit of a big question.
Yeah.
Big, small change, couple of change, top 10, you know.
Yeah. So it's hard because obviously the reason healthcare is bad for health workers at times, especially like in NHS and stuff, is because of the system that they work in where they're under-resourced, understaffed. That is like, I guess, politically maybe things need to change. They need more funding for the public health system, whatever. That's really hard to do. I guess what we could do from the ground up is like maybe like a cultural change around celebrating healthcare workers who do things outside of medicine, not celebrating like martyrdom where you feel like you have to sacrifice your health, your mental health, your physical health to be a doctor or whatever. So yeah, I guess like cultural shifts around that.
Because that, it's in such conflict, isn't it? Celebrating that martyrdom. We won't look after our own health.
Yeah.
You know, but yet we're healthcare workers.
Yeah.
Even
like
just to shift that
mindset. Yeah. Like not encouraging people to stay 2 hours after work to get the work done. Not that hasn't happened here. That was like,
but it does happen, and that's definitely come up in some of our other conversations where nurses have said that they stay back and they do another shift and another shift, and
they're
they've
asked
said
to come in early the next day, and
it's just a constant cycle. And they were saying yes, from the ground up, it's from leadership not asking more and more and more, but it's equally for the healthcare workers to say no. I need a break, or I've got these things on. So but making that okay. You know, it's just a different conversation.
Yeah.
And bringing it in line to everything that we know about other areas outside of health of how we need to treat people in the workplace and how to inspire people to want to come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And recharge. Like you can't keep working and serving when you're on empty, physically, mentally, emotionally. Let's have another shift.
That culture is, they say it's how you feel the night before you go to work.
Yeah.
That sort of
the Sunday
indicator.
scaries.
Yeah.
The Sunday scaries.
Do you get those? Do you ever get
Not us.
No,
No.
you guys are
Can't
doing a
say
great
you
job.
asked me in front of a boss. I'll walk out after and you can ask her. But to be honest, though, probably that's where we really love coming in more.
Yeah.
Like I don't have that, but I can't imagine. I probably did a little when I was an occupational therapist.
Yeah.
And I remember probably similar to you, I was a bit like, is this it? And I didn't do it for very long. And I remember when I went to the UK in the NHS, they'd be ringing going, do you want this shift? Do you want to do this locum? I was like, not really.
Yeah.
And you weren't qualified. You were like, I can't do that.
I don't want to go.
Why
I don't
do
want to
need
go and work in that room. I'm better off in paediatrics or whatever it might be. That's not my jam, mental health. So, I did feel it then.
Yeah.
And I do sometimes think, had I not felt like that, or if I'd seen something a bit more exciting ahead of me, maybe I would have stayed in it, So instead I went and recruited occupational therapists because I felt like I was on the sidelines of the profession, so.
It's not too late.
No, I'm all in now.
Yeah.
I'm going to become a content creator. Imagine.
you should.
Okay.
No.
Well, so today CMR are going to be making a donation to a charity of your choice with this episode.
Yeah.
Where can we donate to?
So I chose Against Malaria Foundation, if that's okay with you guys.
Of course.
Yeah,
Just your choice.
Just because I really so I got introduced to the idea of effective altruism. I don't know if you've ever heard of it.
No.
Basically, you are trying to, instead of it's not really about you feeling good about your donation, but actually putting your money where it will do the most, give the most benefit. So from my understanding, Against Malaria Foundation, you almost get the most bang for your buck, I guess, in terms of lives saved, because it's very simple. Mosquito nets are really cheap. So I guess your money goes a bit further. So
what a great choice.
Yeah, I love
That's
that.
fantastic. Chris, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been really cool sharing my story. Thank you for having this platform for like all other health professionals and doctors and nurses and everyone to share their story too. I think it's a really powerful thing.
Thank you. No, it's
Yeah.
our absolute
Love
pleasure.
hearing it.
And I definitely think, it's so important that you can't be what you can't see. And from sharing your story, if we could inspire some of the younger generations as well to want to stay in health, because they can be more than just that profession, or they can substitute something that enhances that, I think is just so powerful.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
We care for the land.
We acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land of which we meet, who for centuries have shared ancient methods of healing and cared for their communities. We pay our respects to elders past and present.